prices, top tier service, trusted products. At 255-6810 or 316-0164, or drop by our Jimmet location to check out what's in store. Fine Foods Inc.
Fine Foods Inc., the biggest distributor for the biggest brand.
Madam Boboy Madi, Laukali, Idipoti Rice and Company. Yele Rice and Company, the only company I know with Rice was cooking water and back and neck. Now in the last valley short, I said Bryce. In the old plus nefla where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open Nipu gas peel agent. They program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering aluminum that can better withstand the elements. You have in an easy way, so no leaking after a while. And so much more. Rice and Company, the app by 8 bank close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone 617-2468.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their June 2026 intake and is holding a free information session at the Waterfall Room, Fort Young Hotel from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on April 16th. Edinburgh Napier's programs, including the AACSB accredited MBA and BA Business top-ups for holders of associate degrees. They are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible, and can be completed in a minimum of 1 year. Reserve a place now at www.sei, bold letters, degrees, in lowercase dpgrees.com. That's www.sei, bold letters, followed by degrees, lowercase.com.
Ooh, oh, oh, KFC. Ooh, oh, KFC. Looking for some place to go. Variety meals for soul. The original KFC. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC. KFC. It's finger licking good.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their June 2026 intake and is holding a free information session at the Waterfall Room, Fort Young Hotel from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on April 16th. Edinburgh Napier's programs, including the AACSB accredited MBA and BA Business top-ups for holders of associate degrees. They are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible, and can be completed in a minimum of 1 year. Reserve a place now at www.sei, bold letters, degrees, in lowercase dpgrees.com. That's www.sei, bold letters, followed by degrees, lowercase.com.
Fresh Market, Best Price, and Cash and Carry are giving you the chance to win the ultimate tascation. Simply spend $100 or more in store for a chance to win a luxurious weekend getaway at the Secret Berry store, plus 2 VIP tickets to Jazz and Crayon, and spending money. But the excitement does not end here. Enjoy weekly prizes, fun in-store activities, and surprises, all promotion alone. The more you shop, the more chances you get to win. Shop at Fresh Market, Best Price, or Cash and Carry today and enter for your chance to win the ultimate tascation. Promotion runs from now until April 24th. Terms and conditions apply.
Hardware and home improvement, building supplies for you, kitchen appliances, even home decor too. Lumber, lawn, all your garden supplies, plumbing, welding, electrical supplies.
Visit Do It Center at the former Jane Hassett Hardware location on Goodwill Road. Call us at 255-6890.
Exciting news from AutoTrade. Incredible savings are here. Take advantage of AutoTrade's Thrifty Thursday promotion. Mark your calendars. On the last Thursday of each month, AutoTrade is offering up to 20% off items throughout the store. Yes, 20% off. But wait, here's more. Keep your eyes peeled for our exclusive Deal of the Day offer, bringing you even bigger discounts on select items. Whether you're looking for car accessories, maintenance essentials, or just browsing for a great deal, we've got you covered. So be sure to swing by AutoTrade every last Thursday. At AutoTrade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Dominica, good afternoon to you. We were scheduled to have an interview at this time, but we have not seen our guest just yet. We wanted to schedule interview at about the 1:30 hour. Let's open up the lines. Until then, take a quick break. We'll come right back.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy drink, and of course, Sunglass juices, Toffee snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
We can open the lines for the next few minutes until our guests get here. The 1:30 hour. We're expecting two former chief planners in the house. Just to inform you again that the Dominica Business Forum is having a very, what has been described as a very interesting and timely forum here on Friday. The private sector, civil society discussion, an update on the voter confirmation registration process. Mr. Duncan Stowe will present, who is the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Mr. Gregor Nassif will make some observations. Annie Edwards will present, as well as Crispin Gregor, on the international situation. And then there will be a Q&A, open discussion. That's at the Fortune Hotel. This Friday from 4:30. Be there. Somebody's making a point. I suspect we'll have to expound on that. Very critical one, though. It reads, commercial banks across the Eastern Caribbean are sitting on billions and billions in excess liquidity, according to a new report. Yet small businesses and ordinary people can't get access to credit. Even Dr. Timothy Antoine, governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, is warning that this imbalance is choking economic growth across the region. So what is really going on? The question. Let me tell you, too many of these banks, or the boards on these banks, are out of touch. They have the book sense, degrees, titles, credentials, but where is the real world sense, the common sense? Where is the understanding of what small businesses, young entrepreneurs, and struggling families are facing every single day? You cannot be sitting comfortably collecting hefty director's fees, living a good life, while the economy you are supposed to help is suffocating. This is not just about numbers on the balance sheet. This is about the opportunity being denied. This is about growth being stalled. This is about people being choked or locked out. If billions are sitting idle while people are struggling, then something is fundamentally wrong. It's like we are making deposits in these banks just for the rich and connected to have it. And no questions are being asked. And I endorse the statement. Too many people in these banks don't understand the struggle of the young businessman. I'll read that again. Well, let me take a quick call before we do. Hello, talk to me. Yes,
They were not trained to be that humane. They did not. People misunderstand the system that has effed up left, right, and center for decades, you know, Matt, thanks to Mr. Gregor Nassif. So many other critical issues with corruption, with the thievery of our billions, with the environment, with having to do with garbage disposal, the sexualization, molestation, and all kind of nastiness of our children. Matt, the churches only know the four walls of the buildings, Matt. Matt, where are the churches that want to take people to heaven? Now look, they say pray for the hotel because it will be the runway in which the planes will take off to take people in heaven. All you hypocrites. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Again, I want to make reference to this, letter I got this afternoon. They're very, very, very timely, huh? Very timely. I and of course, I want to read this letter again. It makes a lot of sense. Let me take it from the top. Commercial banks across the Eastern Caribbean are sitting on billions and billions in excess liquidity. According to a new report, yet small businesses and ordinary people can't get access to credit. Even Dr. Timothy Antoine, governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, is warning that this imbalance is choking economic growth across the region. So, what's really going on? Let me tell you what's going on. Too many of these bank board members are out of touch. They have the book sense, degrees, titles, credentials. But where is the real world sense? I'm talking about common sense. Where's the understanding of what small businesses, young entrepreneurs, and struggling families are facing every single day? You cannot be sitting comfortably collecting hefty director fees, living a good life while the economy you are supposed to help you or help drive is suffocating. This is not about numbers on the balance sheet. This is about an opportunity being denied. This is about growth being stalled. This is about people being locked out. If billions are sitting idle while people are struggling, then something is wrong, fundamentally wrong. It's like we are making deposits in these banks just for the rich and connected to have. No questions are asked. There's a discussion we need to have. I'm sure we'll get a lot of reaction to this one. Dominica, we have two of the former chief planners in Dominica with us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, stick around.
Hardware and home improvement, building supplies for you, kitchen appliances, even home decor too. Lumber, lawn, all your garden supplies, plumbing, welding, electrical supplies.
Visit Do It Center at the former J. Nassif Hardware location on Goodwill Road. Call us at 255-6890.
Exciting news from AutoTrade. Incredible savings are here. Take advantage of AutoTrade's Thrifty Thursday promotion. Mark your calendars. On the last Thursday of each month, AutoTrade is offering up to 20% off items throughout the store. Yes, 20% off. But wait, there's more. Keep your eyes peeled for our exclusive Deal of the Day offer, bringing you even bigger discounts on select items. Whether you're looking for car accessories, maintenance essentials, or just browsing for a great deal, we've got you covered. So be sure to swing by AutoTrade every last Thursday. At AutoTrade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship. Terms and conditions apply.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With Island distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy drink, and of course, Sunblast juices, Toffee snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
Lift me up, Lord, out of the dark. I waited so long In the cold and the rain, I thought I was drowning in a river of pain. My feet were stuck deep in the thick miry clay. I couldn't find the words or the courage to pray. Oh, but you reached right down from the heavens above, and you pulled me out of your unending love. You set both my feet on a solid hard rock and gave me a new song that the devil came up. Yes, Lord, a brand new song. The pit was so deep and the walls were so steep. I cried out to heaven while the whole world was asleep. You heard my faint whisper over all of the noise. Let me say good afternoon to you beautiful ladies in the house. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Yeah. Thank you. Not too often I get two powerful ladies, you know.
You see two ladies come together.
That's power right there.
You
set both my feet on a solid hard rock and gave me a new song that the devil came up. Let me allow you guys to introduce yourself. You know, stranger, but I'm sure people recognize the voice on the head. But for those who just joined us for the first time, your introductions. Yes.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Tell us a little about you again. Yes.
Good afternoon to your listeners.
Uh-huh.
I'm Annie Edwards, and I'm a former chief physical planner. But my specialization is in natural resource and environmental management.
Okay.
So that's why I'm so passionate about what's going on right now with DayBush.
All right. And we have somebody new we want to welcome in a big way. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Matt, and to all your listeners out there.
Good afternoon.
I am Juliet Chillingford.
Uh-huh.
And I served as physical planner for a number of years, 7 years about in
Really?
the 90s. And I served as chief planner for about 6 years in the 2000s.
Really?
Early 2000. And then upon my early retirement, the minister decided, no. So I was appointed as chairman of the Planning Authority for another 8 years.
Wow.
So for the last 10 years, I really have not been involved in planning.
All right.
I found a reason to come out
All right.
now just to speak. And it was really, I didn't expect my letter to go out there on social media.
You didn't expect that?
I really did not.
Why?
So it was really written out of concern. I wanted to speak, to communicate with
Right.
the physical planning team that's there right now,
Mm-hmm.
and to communicate with the board indirectly. So that's really why I wrote, because I haven't really been involved in planning for this time.
But it's something that you love.
Yeah, well,
You have done
just
all
part
your
of
life?
my DNA, you know,
Okay.
because I'm also trained as a physical planner. So unlike Annie, who specialized in natural resource management, I am very much a physical planner. My first degree is in physical planning in urban systems, geography. And then when I went on to York University, I also did what we call then human settlement planning. So
Wow.
I am very much about people, how they relate to the land, and how we do it. Everything can be harmonious.
Okay.
between
But
the two.
there
And
of course,
sustainable.
there are those, and I'm going to be straight with you, that's going to say, oh, well, she's in it because of political partisan reasons. So
Oh,
that's not
absolutely
you.
not. No. It is really because I just felt I needed to alert my people in planning, you know. And for one, what really got me going was the lack of public participation. And when it did come late, it had so much restrictions. And to me, that is really not participation. It's really not full participation. It was limited. And I, to this day, don't understand why they structured it that way. Because it was almost like shooting yourself in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're opening yourself for judicial review if you don't give the public what the act has said. The
Mhm.
act basically said to public participation is required at so many levels.
And this issue is so serious. It doesn't, I'm going to say that Juliet is not somebody who comes in public and expresses herself too much.
I had to encourage her to come.
You had to encourage her. And
we worked quite very closely at the planning department when we worked together for a long
So
time.
when
And-
Annie was chief, I was actually chairman
Yeah,
at that time.
right.
wow, well, that's a combination there.
Yes.
But I want to expose the public, of course, to a letter that has gone out there in the media, and it was read. This letter from Juliet was read by Franklin Peter Moses. I'm going to take a few minutes to digest. If those of you who have not heard it, to digest some of what was in that letter concerning it. Let me see if I can.
McGill University in Canada. My comments are therefore grounded in experience, in extensive professional experience, a thorough understanding of the planning framework, and a deep commitment to safeguarding Dominica's environmental integrity, upholding development standards, and ensuring adherence to the rule of planning law. At the outset, I wish to state clearly that this objection is not intended to oppose or delay the Dominica International Airport project. Rather, it is made in support of sound, evidence-based decision-making, ensuring that all associated developments are appropriately cited, properly justified, and rigorously assessed in accordance with the laws and established planning principles of Dominica. In my capacity of Chief Physical Planner, I coordinated in the review of the Draft Physical Planning Act number 5 of 2002 in collaboration with state attorneys prior to its enactment in Parliament, a process that involved intensive and detailed, deliberate, and broad stakeholder engagement. Section 22 of the said Act mandates meaningful public participation in development proposals of this scale and significance. It is therefore of serious concern that the public participation process surrounding this application and its ESIA appears to have been both delayed in its disclosure and conducted under limitations that constrain full, informed, and effective engagement. This raises substantial issues of procedural fairness, which are fundamental to lawful decision making, and may expose the process to challenge by way of judicial review. Public consultation must not only occur, but must be timely, accessible, properly informed, and genuinely participatory. In this instance, that standard has not been met. Assuming your own in-depth review of the ESIA document, I trust you will agree that they are deficient in several critical respects and, more fundamentally, fail to provide adequate justification for the establishment of yet another quarry on our island. I am not in favor of the indiscriminated approval of multiple quarry operations in Dominica, except where such development is critically necessary and demonstrably supported by sound technical justification and environmental impact review. It was indeed on my initiative that the quarry standards, which now guide the review of quarry applications, were developed. These standards were born out of a deep concern for the environmental degradation that can result from poorly regulated or excessive quarrying activity, and from a recognition of the need for a more structured, restrained, and disciplined approach to such developments, which are inherently intrusive and carry significant, often irreversible environmental consequences. In this context, it is important to note that the existing quarries on the island already possess both the quality and the quantity of materials required for the airport project. The question is, do we need another? Notably, the ESIA places primary emphasis on logistical considerations such as hauling distance, transport cost, and operational conveniences, yet provides no substantive technical evidence that the site was selected on the basis of geological suitability, material development for the structure, performance standards, or rigorous comparative evaluation of alternative quarries for a development of this nature, particularly within the environmentally sensitive context. Site selection must be grounded in sound scientific and engineering criteria rather than driven primarily by logistical convenience, where viable alternatives already exist. The ESIA fails to adequately demonstrate material suitability for airport infrastructure. It does not address whether the rock meets international aviation standards for runway construction, whether the material has been tested for durability, load bearing capacity, and resistance to weathering. The absence of laboratory testing, engineering validation, and recognized certification represents a significant deficiency and materially undermines the credibility of the justification advanced for a proposed development. In the absence of demonstrated necessity and material suitability, the environmental costs of this development cannot be justified on the basis of logistical convenience alone. The proposed quarry site bounds the Central Forest Reserve, one of Dominica's most ecologically sensitive and valuable natural assets. This proximity raises serious concerns regarding habitat fragmentation, edge effects, disruption of ecological corridors, the long term degradation of protected forest systems. The ESIA does not provide sufficient analysis of these impacts, nor does it demonstrate how the ecological integrity of the reserve will be maintained. The site is located within a high rainfall watershed with hydrological connections to the Pegua River system. Notwithstanding this, the ESIA lacks sediment transportation modeling, runoff impact analysis, and a downstream water quality projections. Given Dominica's terrain and rainfall intensity, this omission is both significant and unacceptable. Additionally, the area has been historically associated with mineralization, including copper deposits. The ESIA does not assess the potential for acid rock drainage, the mobilization of heavy metals, or the risk of contamination of surface and groundwater systems. This represents a critical oversight, particularly in light of the potential for irreversible environmental damage. Further, while the ESIA acknowledges the presence of terrestrial fauna and bird species, it nonetheless concludes that impacts will be limited within the support of comprehensive biodiversity surveys, habitat mapping, or an assessment of species and their vulnerabilities. This internal inconsistency undermines the overall credibility and reliability of the assessment. Even moderate habitat disturbance can have disproportionately severe ecological consequences. The ESIA acknowledged landslide risks, erosion potential, and the hydrological sensitivity, yet concludes that the site is technically suitable without demonstrating how these risks are quantified, mitigated, or acceptably managed. This represents a clear disconnection between the identified risks and the conclusions reached. The ESIA in its current form is inadequate to support informed decision making. It is characterized by insufficient scientific justification, internal inconsistencies, and incomplete environmental analyses and procedural concerns. Given the scale, sensitivity, and national significance of this project, it is my consideration, my considered professional opinion, and advice that the application be disapproved in its present form. Safeguarding Dominica's environment, its people, and its long-term sustainability is a statutory obligation of the Physical Planning and Development Authority. Dominica's identity as a nature island is not incidental. It is foundational to our economy, our tourism product, and our national legacy. Development must proceed, but it must be done so responsibly, transparently, and on the basis of sound science and planning principles. This submission is made in that spirit. I assure you of my best intentions. Sincerely, Juliet Shillingford.
All right, Dominica. That's really in depth there. Presentation there by Ms. Juliet Schillenfer. Anyway, where are we now? Where are we now in terms of this process, if you will?
Right. Well, the last thing that happened is that there was a meeting of the technical committee to deliberate on the proposal, but I understand that they received about 47, submissions from members of the public.
Okay.
So they spend most of the time going through those submissions. They were not done with them, so they postponed the meeting. The date has not been given yet. So they are fulfilling one of the requirements of the planning law that you must consider all submissions, whether it's from agencies, whether it's from the ordinary man on the street. Any submission, you must take it into consideration before you make your decision.
Juliet, I know there's a lot of technicalities in this letter that you guys are more professional than a lot of us out there in the public. But break it down for the public to understand. What are some of your more serious concerns, Juliet, about this ESI?
The public the lack of. Let's not talk about the EIA yet.
Yes.
The public participation is inadequate. So even if they're taking the time now to review the letters, as Annie stated, the time that they gave the public to respond, and the manner in which we had to respond, we had to get the information. It just wasn't fair. So I'm very concerned that perhaps even they should open it back up for more public participation, so that they're not leaving themselves vulnerable to judicial review.
Okay.
So that having said that, there are so many sections in the Act. There's not just Section 22 that demands publicity when an EIA is required, but at the very beginning, they say the authority shall consult with local authorities. That's in Section 4, where they're just talking about the administration of the authority. So there are 4 areas in the Act. It's embedded in there, this need for public participation. It's not something we're going to get away with, or they're going to get away with. So that's very important. I just wanted to say that.
But the public participation you're talking about refers to the community involved?
Agencies, anybody affected by the application, government agencies, non-governmental agencies, basically the whole of Dominica, because we're all affected by it. And the different village councils, it really, the Kalinago territory, the Tuna development committee. So it's very important that they allow the time for that sort of involvement, and I truly feel they haven't done that adequately. So that was a huge concern for me. So that took a bulk of the letter,
right,
for me. The next thing, we told me to break it down a little bit. The next thing that was of huge concern for me was the lack of comparative analysis. So I'm a firm believer that we have enough quarries on the island, and as long but see what they do. I mean, it's very hard for the land to regain its any form of it's very difficult to reinstate the land after the quarry operations are over. So I am a firm believer that if we have the material on island already, then that's what we need to consider. We need to consider how to do it. Option A, B, C, but at the end of the day, no more quarries. At least
not in a sensitive area.
Especially not in sensitive area. And as long as we have the materials available on island, definitely no more quarries. So that to me was my next big thing. I didn't even want to get the EIA part. Just upfront, just enough already. Enough, there's no need to take down another mountain.
What about the
nature island is so important.
I know they have a concern about the economic cost.
Well, have they looked at the economic, the cost of destroying the forest, the environmental cost? Have they looked at the cost of transporting all the overburden from the site to wherever they have to go? Tony LeBlanc gave a very good submission, which I'd love to read out of.
Sure.
It's, like the number, there is going to be quite a bit of transportation from the Bosch area to the Londonderry and wherever they're going to put that burden. So there's a cost to that. There's a cost to setting up the quarry. There's a cost to closing it down, the rehabilitation, everything. So I don't know that they didn't. In the EIA, there's no costing of all of that. So to say that the cost of transporting it from the West Coast to the East Coast is too much, that's because they didn't finish calculating the cost of actually operating Outer Daywash, if you understand what I mean. Yeah, it's insufficient. The comparative analysis was definitely insufficient. And I would like to see them go back and do all those calculations and tell us truly.
So this economic cost is a poor excuse.
It's a poor excuse. Is it worth it? No, give me the figures. Tell me, have you calculated it? Is it worth it to tear down another mountain and open up another quarry? Yeah.
Annie?
So that goes to the Quarry Act that that never got passed.
So one of the things
That
I
never
really
did.
I need to make mention of is the fact that while Juliet was chief physical planner, she initiated the preparation of a Quarry Act, Quarry Act and regulation. And the main reason driving that, as she will tell you, is that there was this foreign developer who was hell bent on doing a quarry at Kulibistri, and that would have destroyed the entire Kulibistri.
Coward Reef?
No, the village, because the rocks were above the mountains. The Kulibistri people must be remembering that they came down in their numbers, and they agitated a lot and so on, and planning was totally against it and gave a lot of pushback. So the fight for quarries has not started today. It started long when she was chief physical planner. After she left, we continued the process. The government paid a lawyer to draft the law and everything. It's not a law, it's a bill, Quarry Bill and Regulations, and that was completed in 2013. And I can tell you, if that bill had been enacted, this quarry would never meet the requirements.
It would have been easy.
Yes, it would have been disapproved from it because it specified the type of location that you would want to do quarry in Dominica.
But from what I gather, the initial planning to read this airport never involved Daywash. So why the rush to Daywash at this time?
That's a question.
That's what we need to know.
That's a good question. And not only a rush, but it's like a determination. So you have to wonder, but what is that Daywash that's really driving this kind of determination? And
because there are options. There are viable options.
And that is in the face of so many different negative obstacles. And so just think of it. You have one of the main things you have is the Central Forest Reserve, but also the Northern Forest Reserve, where you have the parrot reserves and everything. And that mountain part of that mountain is the watershed of the Pegua River. So a lot of the streams, as you drive along there, you see the streams flowing down to the river. There's another branch very close by. So we are not saying that the entire river will be dried up, but a significant volume of the water will be decreased because it will be lost.
There's a cost to that.
Yeah,
the loss of forests.
And we know and the forest provides good basic functions like keeping the soil together, keeping the moisture in the soil so that it trickles down and become a tributary.
Habitat for the flora,
the habitat,
the birds and the bees.
But there's also an argument that they've used that the rocks, the specific rocks that they're looking for, can be found anywhere else but Daywash. That's the argument.
Well, we looked all in the document and we never saw that justification. There's no way. I heard about what was it?
Fair Wash.
Fair Wash. But I look for Fair Wash and I haven't seen that.
The material they need. The quarries on the West Coast supply other airport runways and have met the standards that are necessary internationally. So what are you still looking for Fair Wash for? Wash Fair, whatever. You have what you need right here in Dominica. We export it.
Yes.
So why are you looking for something extraordinary? Antigua.
Antigua.
So it's just like baffling as to why they wash. I mean, I don't want to go into the whole copper thing, but it's like that's not even to me an issue. It's just like no quarry.
Why do you have to dig so deep to get the rock they're looking for?
What rock?
They said it's over 100 or 1,000 feet deep. They have to go down. I
mean,
just thinking of that is really, scary because from the figures that were presented by, it's very scary. The figures that were presented by Mr. Libla is that 400,000 metric tons of material will be mined, but 600,000 metric tons of soil has to be removed first to get that before you can get the rocks. So can you imagine? I mean, this amount. Where are you going to store it? They meant two areas. One is right there in Concord, which
Comfort Hall?
already a stop order was sent to the people because it's right on the banks of the river. And the other one is that's where they're going to dispose the material. The other one is at Londonderry, where right now they are dumping the soil from the airport. So where is that material going to go?
And the interesting thing is that when they take it and they dump it on Londonderry, that is considered a material change in the change in the material use of the land. And that requires planning permission because that's under the definition of development. So not only they actually need permission to just dump it on another piece of land because
You
you're
need to
changing the
apply
use
for the dump site.
of the material use of the land. So that's a whole other process. So when we looked at when I went through the EIA report and the results from Janelle and them, the report, they highlighted what Tony LeBlanc, who's a qualified engineer, said. And basically, the amount of overburden that has to be moved based on his own calculations as a civil and structural engineer equates to 24 heavy vehicles per hour on a 12-hour operating day. 24 vehicles per hour. And so, I mean, like, that's a lot.
Per hour,
Per hour. To move that overburden to the necessary location. So it's serious. It's serious. So maybe just finding a spot in Dominica where the stone is already there
is much better.
You may not have to move all that overburden.
And I know people want to interact. So let's take a call. Are you there, caller?
Yes, madam, dear. Good afternoon to you, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to your guest. Matt, I want to compliment your guest. And I would like to appeal to other professionals to come out and speak out and educate us, the public. Because, Matt, I am listening to this thing there from the beginning, and I'm saying, but why they want to go at the bush when they have alternatives? Why do you want to destroy a forest that got put there, that took hundreds of years for it to be there? You want to destroy it, and you can never rebuild it, They can say what they want. There's no way they can destroy the bush and bring it back the way it was. They cannot. So why do you want to go there when you can go to the West Coast and get the stones? Ladies, I'm really, really, really happy for the job you are doing. Keep it up. God bless you all.
God bless you. Let's take another phone call, 449. Are you there, caller? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for trying to save Dominica. I'm going to ask questions, Please take note.
Okay.
Because if my memory serves me right, I can recall Mr. Greg was saying that, Felix Greg was saying that a portion of the land they belong to government and a portion is private land. Is that so?
I think they're leasing some of the land
yes.
from government. Yes, that is true.
Okay. On another note, when all that digging is done, what's going to happen to the property there? Can all you tell me? Because that the depth I hear they're going down in there. And the amount of them maybe start with already. What's going to happen to that area? Are they going to use that area to do something else besides looking for warfare? I really would like to know. And what is the aviation, people in the aviation, how are they calling them?
Industries
saying about that? Because they're supposed to be looking at what's going on in Dominica where the airport is concerned. And I'm hearing that about 90% of the runway is completed. Is that so? I'm asking a question again. Hello?
Yes. They're going to get... You're prepared to answer now?
No, the only answer I want to give her is pertaining to what they're going to do about the plates. Okay. What the document says is that when they are done quarrying after 2 years, they'll take the material from Londonderry and bring it back to that site. That's what it
More
says.
transportation.
More transportation, and then
they're taking
the same material
and bring it back.
So when you talk about costs, you see these people are not thinking through this thing
properly.
Yeah.
The math's not.
The mapping. They're bringing it back to the
bringing it back and then plant trees on it.
Yeah.
That time, I mean, you mix it up. You no longer have the topsoil. It's
That time, birds done gone.
everything going.
No.
No,
You call
I
that?
tell you, this
Yes.
thing is crazy.
Yeah.
That would be a lot costly to take the material, dump it all the way up to Londonderry, take it and bring it back up there. Wouldn't that more costly than looking for the like the man that had the airfield? What they call that? The hotel Dong Lale Coco say it's a lot costlier to take it from over there to bring it to the airport site. Wouldn't that be more costly to do that?
That's what they say, of course.
Amen to that. So something is wrong somewhere. And thank you for standing up for Dominica, because a lot of the young people now, all they're interested in is CO, a thin bit, and the government of the day happy to give that to them. So ladies, thank you, and whoever the gentleman involved, thank you for standing up for country, not for political party. Bye-bye.
All right. Another note we've heard, and of course you guys must have heard, that you're anti-airport. How do you justify that?
Matt, while you are sitting there, have we said anything about the airport?
No.
No, we are not.
This is not even a topic for discussion.
No, we
now.
don't have anything here about airport. We are talking about the quarrying, which yes, is to provide material for
I mean,
the
the airport may have its own issues, but
It
that's
has-
not what is
we are
being
talking
discussed
about
there.
right now.
It's two different things.
I mean, everybody wants an airport in Dominica, but we just want it to be done properly, and in the law must be followed. It has to be done in a legal way.
Very, very serious. Again, 449-3095. If you want to interact with our panel here, feel free to do so. We're going to take a quick break, and Dominica, we're going to come back. We're here with the two, of course, former chief planners.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their June 2026 intake and is holding a free information session at the Waterfall Room, Fort Young Hotel from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on April 16th. Edinburgh Napier's programs, including the AACSB accredited MBA and BA Business top-ups for holders of associate degrees. They are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible, and can be completed in a minimum of 1 year. Reserve a place now at www.SEI, bold letters, degrees in lowercase degrees.com. That's www.SEI, bold letters, followed by degrees, lowercase.com.
Ooh, oh, KFC. Ooh, oh, KFC. Looking for some place to go. Emails for soul. KFC. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC.
KFC. It's finger licking good.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their June 2026 intake and is holding a free information session at the Waterfall Room, Fort Young Hotel from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on April 16th. Edinburgh Napier's programs, including the AACSB accredited MBA and BA Business top-ups for holders of associate degrees. They are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible, and can be completed in a minimum of 1 year. Reserve a place now at www.SEI, bold letters, degrees in lowercase degrees.com. That's www.SEI, bold letters, followed by degrees, lowercase.com.
All right, Dominica, let's see. It's 2:02. Hello, talk to me.
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to the two lovely ladies. Real and true patriots of Dominica. Thank you is never too much, so I would like to add my voice to say thank you, ladies, for standing up for your country and for coming to enlighten those of us who wants to keep our mind open and our ears open and to continue to listen and learn. When I listen to these two ladies, you can see this is like you're in a classroom with two very good, excellent teachers teaching you and educating you, and you can see they know their onions. I mean, that is their cup of tea, that is their background, compared to some may say quick quack I have been hearing, and independence is still November, Matt. Okay?
Okay.
So, ladies, thank you very much. Take a bow. Keep standing for your country. Dominica belongs to all of us. If things go sour, it will be sour for all of us. If it stays sweet, it will be sweet for all of us. And do not let anybody threaten all you or scare all you away from speaking about what you all know. Okay? So thank you very much again, ladies. You all make me proud as a lady. Thank you.
I have not noticed any element of fear here. They're speaking their mind. Hello, talk to me. Now, I've heard both Janelle and Gary wanting to compare notes with the other quote unquote experts. Are you guys willing to sit on the table and share? It's for Dominica to share and exchange with these so called professionals?
But we do.
No, I'm saying, do you? I'm saying, would you be willing to sit across a table to share notes? In other words, with government officials.
Oh, government officials.
Yes, I'm sure that is welcome. That's also part of
make a
public
presentation.
participation.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of engagement they should have afforded people. You know, like you can go and you can make your presentation in a public forum. People can come. That's public participation. You know, it could have been done interactively.
Because I'm hearing from them that they have the evidence or the material to say that this rock from the Wash is the best, and almost prepared to put their life on the line for the Wash.
But they had the opportunity to put it in the document, but it's not there. So where is it? Well, if it's there,
it's great. If it's there,
they could bring it. It's not too late.
But you also not only have to show us that it's the great, but you also have to show that what's already there is not good enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's already on the runway?
What's already available in Dominica is not good enough.
Oh, because there are other countries in the Caribbean using that same rock.
Yes. And when you're doing an EIA, one of the things that must be done is you look for alternatives. Okay, so they decided that they wanted to do the quarrying at Deboche for certain reasons. But you also, one of the requirements is that you must look at alternative sites. If, yes, I'm doing it here, it has XYZ impacts in the environment, social, and economic. Now, the alternatives are on the West Coast. You're supposed to look at the alternatives, what impacts these will have, how it affects the area or the transportation of the material and so on compared to Deboche. So you have to analyze the alternatives the same way based on the three main components: the social, environmental, and the economic. The document doesn't do that. All it says is that these locations are further in terms of logistics, the cost of transporting the material, and that sort of thing. It doesn't mention that when you quarry at Deboche, you're affecting the river, the Pega River. You're going to cut down a mountain. You're going to encroach on the Northern Forest Reserve and the Central Forest Reserve. And these cannot even be quantified. The value of these natural resources is so great that it's hard to quantify them. You can't put a figure.
Let's take a phone call. Are you there, caller?
Yes, good afternoon, Matthias Bertiati Martin. I wanted to add my, plaudits.
Okay, Mr.
To
Martin.
Juliet and Annie for coming forward as they have done in the past and are doing again, standing for what we all know to be right, but not all of us have the guts or the courage or the knowledge to stand up for it. I believe it's important, and I think Annie and Julia can both speak to that. When environmental studies became a part of planning, it was simply environmental impact assessment. Over the years, the notion of social was incorporated and extended the work of an impact assessment team to look at, as Annie and Juliet are saying, not just the ecological related to land, soil, water, etc., but the impact on the residents, not just in the immediate impact of a project, but the footprint of a project like a quarry, the footprint of a project like an airport is much wider than the assigned area of land. People have to drive through. What is the impact on visitors of a degraded mountain along a sort of otherwise pristine kind of drive from the airport or to the airport? So these are things that have to be calculated and can be calculated, not only in terms of human impact, but also in terms of the economic impact. If the main is the naturalness of the island in the face of what has happened to other similar areas, then we have an obligation to protect and preserve as a national priority. And so it's not a matter simply of liking trees and liking rivers. It's a matter of recognizing that rivers contain wealth of the country. There are rivers in Dominica that have a daily flow of 100 million gallons of water. Some have more. So you want to get an idea of the economic impact of destroying a river, it's capable of delivering 100 million gallons of water a day? No. And that is simply what is absent, apparently, in what they have presented as an ESI.
Well, Mr. Martin, I was talking to one person on the other side. I won't reveal who. The person said, "Well, we can afford to lose one river."
Nah, you see, that's how it begins. When you get diabetes, or when you do you say it's just one too, and I can afford to lose one too and forget it? No, you take a look at the holistical impact and presence of the disease on you as a full organism, a full body. Similarly, because here it is, we talk about Central Reserve and Northern Forest Reserve. Not only rivers on the East Coast benefit from these rivers, several rivers on the West Coast of the island draw water from the Central Forest Reserve, not least of which is Layu. And you count the rivers going up the West Coast, you'll see that the impact area, that's why I say it's not just the size of the quarry. It's what happens when you start fooling around with that area. The impact extends way beyond the exact area of product. Now, the elephant in the room that I want to leave with Annie and Juliet is this. They have made absolutely crystal clear the importance and role and the benefit of doing environmental and social impact assessment studies before commencing a project. And the process begins with establishment by the physical people of terms of reference and all of that. And the consultation actually begins very much earlier than the research to give rise to the report, the EIA report. So the issue for us is, if this is so critical to an area being considered only as a source of material for a project, I'm putting it to you that has there been an ESIA for the airport project? Has there been planning approval for the airport project? What is the impact area of the airport project? Now, I am taking the quote unquote, it's not a risk, I'm taking the position that as somebody who understands the importance of these studies to effective and successful project planning, I am raising it, even at the risk that there are people out there who say, oh, you see, he doesn't want an airport. No, I don't want an airport that's going to collapse in 10 years. I don't want an airport that's not going to get licensed by the International Civil Aviation Authority because it was improperly constructed. So, for those who are concerned about that, the airport that you so want can only be done well if all the steps that Annie and Juliet are talking about that are part of the planning process are followed diligently. Otherwise, it was on the grammar school ground, you got the collapse of a building, unoccupied, thankfully, but you're now talking about an international facility on which you hope to receive airlines, thousands and thousands of visitors from overseas, all of whom have liability insurance, and all of whom assume that what you have there is safe for them to come to. So our job as the host nation, even at the risk of going a bit slower than we might wish to, is to do the due diligence and all the steps one by one. And you have the talent. We have told them right in your studio now. And you have others who know how to do those things. Engineers like Mr. LeBlanc and others and others and others. So please, this is about making sure that what you want done, that is so critical to Dominica's future, let's do it well. Not a Vicky-Valley thing. This is not a seawall we are planning. This is an international port we are planning, and there are procedures accepted by the international community and that are part of our domestic law that Juliet and Annie have so clearly explained this afternoon. So I want to again thank both of them and thank you, Matt, for going the distance on this one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's take another phone call. Are you there? Yes? Hello.
Hello. I'm so happy that I was able to get on, Matt. Hello, good afternoon, Matt, and to your guests,
Good afternoon.
Annie and company.
Yes?
You know, I have been listening and following very closely. And I lived, in Canada, and whenever there's going to be a development, they always publish the information out there, and meetings and meetings and meetings. But one of the things that is so glaring, that I'm convinced that there is an alternative, they have also ulterior motive for wanting to use the wash. And I say this with confidence. If you're going to transport material from Debwash to Wesley, it is much cheaper to be on the West Coast, where we know it have rocks on the West Coast, using a barge to land it somewhere in Woodford area. That is a much, much cheaper in terms of logistics. You're not going to be damaging the roads, right? So, because you had one guy came on and was making some points about the logistics of transporting from Marigot, from Debwash to Wesley. And I said, look at that. This is just nonsense. Because use a badge and traffic will not be impeded. Our roads will not be damaged. So clearly there's a cost to repair the roads. All right. Thank you. All of us, Annie and company.
All right. Thank you very much. The telephones are coming in. Hello. Talk to me. Yes, so sorry. We'll continue the conversation. Are you there? Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
I'm here, sir.
You hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. That sounds like Mr. Dyer.
Yes, I want to congratulate the two long ladies there. But I want to let them know, they know that Debwash is a very important area for Dominica. And I want to let them know that in the research and whatnot, they've ever heard or see that a hurricane has destroyed a mountain in Dominica. I'm not aware of that. But Hurricane David destroyed the Debwash Bridge. The Debwash Bridge, and why you call it, they call it Debwash. It joins two rivers. It's a very important water resource for Dominica. As a matter of fact, the government at the time after Hurricane found it was so important that the American soldiers and the French came to fix the Debwash Bridge. The American soldiers fixed that bridge, and then the money that the French had to fix it, we had to use that money to finish King Phineas Street. But the point I want to make is also that I am of the view, and I read that water is a very important resource in the world. And it has been predicted that in the next few years, water would be as diamond, as rich as diamond. I think that the wash is a very important area for Dominica and preserving the water resource that we have in Dominica. We both have 365 rivers, but we're not seeing the importance of water in Dominica. There's a small island in South Africa, Lesotho, I think. The people there, they were working in the mainland mining, but they found out that water was so important, and they are now depending, the main source of income on Lesotho right now is the water resource. Small island. So I think that all this thing going on in Demosh, we are not looking at what Demosh is for Dominica and Dominica for the future of our children. The water preserving Dominica, the digging rivers all over the place, and water is a very, very, very useful commodity, which will mean a lot for the future of this country. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a few questions there from somebody and they're going to send me a voice note, so pay attention.
Good afternoon, Matt, and to your panelists. Good afternoon to the ladies. Very good program. I'm listening, but I just have a few concerns and questions that I wish they could address. One, the actual site of the international airport where it is being built now. I would like to know whether there was any concern in terms of environmental impact. I know that mountains were excavated, trees were cut, birds were displaced, soil has been removed, and there was no cry. I never heard any of the environmental people of the past physical planners and so on coming out, with that cry about Save Dominica. But all of a sudden, the focus on Demosh is just a fraction of the international airport. So why at the starting of the airport, that when they started cutting the mountains and the rocks and so on, that there was not that cry or that Save Dominica? That is one of the concerns I had. And two, to Miss Edwards, who is a very professional person who I respect. During your tenure at the division, were you ever instructed by any government official or government personnel or department to approve any particular project or development that in your own professional standard that was wrong? And if not, why are you of the impression that this current physical planning division is being instructed by officials or government officials to do the same when you were there? Government respected your field, your professionalism, but they believe that this current one is doing it. Then am I left to wonder that under your team you did follow instructions from government officials that was wrong? That's just my contribution. I'm listening.
In a nutshell, I think he's asking the question whether you approved any controversial projects in your time.
Okay, I'll take the first question.
Yes.
The one where he asked about whether there were environmental concerns for the international airport.
Right.
So I just want to let him know that's when I started speaking about EIA, because they started the project without having an EIA. There was some studies going on, but the EIA wasn't presented. The plans for the project wasn't presented. I also mentioned the fact that there was 9, I think, small streams. Mm-hmm. They are not really rivers cutting across the airport site. And that itself was a big no. Mm-hmm. There's also the fact that there are numbers of swamps in Wesley, and these are some of the main problems that they are facing right now.
Right.
All that
Because you have
cement,
to build up.
you see, they have to be importing is to
Strengthen.
strengthen the soil. So if they had done all their studies before,
The homework.
the cost of that airport would not be as costly as it is right now. I think maybe the cost even double because of all
So
the
this is not the first time you're speaking out.
No, you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
back
Yes,
then?
of course.
Yeah. And just imagine, for maybe 2 years now, we're seeing cement being transported from Roseau all the way to Marigot
And my information suggests that cost over 1.3 for every
shipment.
Every
So you
shipment.
see? So yeah, and I spoke out about that. Imagine also the case that the case that is currently ongoing,
Mhm.
it has just started, came out as a result of the project. But in that case, is judicial review for the way that the people of the community are being dealt with, treated,
Mhm.
the injustice, the environmental injustice, social injustice, and that sort of thing. So that case is pending. So it's not as if, and in addition to that, other people wave and other people were talking about that project. I
Yeah.
don't know what the person
I know
was
Margot for sure was standing for that.
Yeah. No, I'm not new. That's when I started coming here, actually.
Yeah, well, the second
And
question.
then he asked him,
Yes.
I
Good.
wouldn't want to get into that.
So number 2 was about
Juliet,
wanting
you
an
should
airport
answer.
or not. I think you answered that.
No, the other one is
Is that whether you have to approve any controversial project?
Correct. No, actually, no.
No?
Because guess what? I, as chief planner or even chairman of the board, would not let it get this far. I would pick up the phone and I would call the minister. Mr. Austria and I got along very well. Very well.
Yeah.
You call him and you say, Mr. Austria, this is that's going on and you really need to apply and this is what you need to do and I suggest and you prepare them so that they don't get into the mess that this whole public outcry that's going on. You never get that far because the
So
responsibility.
you're not allowed it to get that far.
The responsibility of the chief planner is to advise the minister. The responsibility of the board is to advise the minister. For that matter,
Uh-huh.
Section, I have it there, somewhere. Section 4 of the Act says that the authority. So some of the people on the board are actually like ex officio. They're like director of this, director of that. But there are some that are just, if you want to call them political appointees, they're just
Right.
there because they were appointed, not for their experience, but because of their the trust that the government has in them.
Right.
So Section 4 actually says that the authority shall prepare and submit to the minister subject reports monthly. So they're there for a reason. It's not a ceremonial position that you just take on. They're there to advise the minister, to advise the government. So I don't know if they're already living up to that.
Okay.
Because it should not be as it is right now. At all.
All right.
There are too many government projects that have this questionable, that are questionable in terms of the planning process. It should not be like that.
And you have to have a minister or somebody authority that listens, as you're saying there.
Yes, that is key.
Yeah, Mr. Austria was very good.
I worked with him
Very
too.
good
And
with him.
Hello, talk to me. Hello, talk.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to your guest. Matt, the thing that boggles me, and I keep saying it over and over again, the government propaganda is saying that the runway is 90% complete. You see it all over the internet. They're bragging that it is 90% complete. Why at this stage do you need to start a new mine the size of Roseau to get the next 10%? Does that make any sense in anybody's head? It doesn't in mine. And whenever something doesn't make sense, there's some cocoa macaque underlying going on. Either they're lying to us, and of course we've already said that we need to see the agreement with the Chinese government to know if in that agreement we were forced to give them all our minerals or some of our minerals. And if we don't trust the fact that we see this and it doesn't make sense, the lack of trust that we have in the Chinese, we are suspicious that they want to go in there and mine our copper, which we fought against when UWP was in power. We fought against it. It's our watershed. We didn't want that copper mined. Broken Hill back down, Mr. Oh boy, there was so much fighting going on till they backed down. We give the credit to to our famous environmentalist, who I can't remember his name right now. Help me, Matt.
You mean Asti Martin?
Asti Martin. We give all the credit to Asti Martin. He fought tooth and nail to make them back down. And now you have 10%, you want to start this new mine, and we're just suspicious of you. We're just suspicious. And especially the way you're going about it, the environmentalists have forced you to get your paperwork right, and you're trying to get it, and we already suspect again that you're going to get that permission. They're giving you permission. The authority is giving you permission to assemble a crusher even without you getting your paperwork right. All that makes us very suspicious and uneasy. No trust. So either you're lying about the 90% complete, or you have some ulterior motive. We are suspicious of you. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you. And he made just a very important point.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's a stop order, but the planning division has actually allowed MMCE or whatever to put that crusher. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
So we're going to read.
we want
We're
to
going to read. We
yes,
have a
that's one of
letter
the things
here.
we ought to read. That letter that was given.
Well, it's a long letter, but I'll just basically on
In synopsis, yes.
yeah. So on March 6th, the planning wrote to the operations director of MMC. Of course, they had already submitted their EIA, so they wrote back asking him for more information. Notice to complete development application. So they gave him a lot of stuff to do, minor amendments, just quite a bit of it.
Okay.
Pages of it, recommendations from the chief environmental officer, they put in there. And then they made observations and recommendations. What startled me, what concerns me, I should say, it says at the end, please be informed that permission has been granted to install the crusher equipment, but the operation of the crusher is strictly prohibited. Now, when you look at the Planning Act, there are two types of development applications. You can apply for outline and you can apply for final. So outline, any type of application that falls under Schedule 2 at the back, which includes a quarry,
Okay.
you cannot apply for outline permission. If you want to do a hotel more than 6 rooms, you cannot apply for outline planning permission. That's just the law. Outline planning permission would allow you to construct but not operate. So I can go in and I can read that section of the act. Let me just read that section of the act, because what I think they've done there is they've confused the two. They've actually given outline planning permission when they said go ahead and build the crusher. And first of all, that was not the application. The application was a final permission. So they're mixing the two, and I don't think, but I'm a lawyer.
Is there a lack of understanding of what the act says?
Well, I
There
don't know
seem
if
to
they
be,
put it
because-
through legal affairs, but it's very clear. So let me just give me a minute and you go on. I will just look for the act,
because
the section
outline
of the act.
planning approval is like approval in principle, sort of. So it's like you're telling them, okay, for instance, some people might apply for outline just to start their foundation or that sort of thing of a massive building. And you will give them approval because you know about at least 50-60% of there's a 50-60-70% chance that the entire development will be approved.
Yeah.
But if you have a development like that, where there are so many uncertainties,
You cannot give
you
outline.
cannot
And the
give
law is
outline.
specific.
Yeah.
You cannot give outline. But so when you read here, section 18 of the Act, the authority may grant development permission expressed to be an outline development permission, subject to the conditions and limitation therein. The effect to which shall be to grant approval in principle to erect buildings, but not to not to permit the commencement of building operations until detailed development permission has been granted in respect of the details. So it looks like they gave a kind of like an outline approval embedded in an application for final, which I don't think the law allows. So
So
Something
basically,
like that.
there's a misunderstanding.
Yes,
It
the
could
person who
be,
did
yeah.
that was probably just trying to facilitate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like
but
giving a green light, but you don't have the legal
that is
authority
illegal.
to
Anybody
give that
could challenge
green light.
that, you know?
You,
It could
you
be
don't have the
seriously
legal
challenged.
authority to give a green light in that
In
setting.
this case like
So
that.
that was just like, to me, a no-no.
Because the application, the key application there is a quarry.
Is a quarry.
And they are,
Final plan
they had just received the information like the
Yeah.
EIA and so forth. You are not even sure.
You haven't done the public participation.
You haven't done the full review. You haven't done anything, and then you are telling them,
Giving a
yes,
green light?
you can go put your equipment there. That
The law
was
doesn't
very bad
allow
on their
that.
part. Yeah.
So what they should have done before they said, I don't know if legal affairs, send it to legal affairs. Say, can I do that? Because they want a green light. Can I do that? Ask the question so that you send out a letter
They should not have given that green light.
cannot be challenged. You don't want to be challenged.
This can be challenged easily.
I think this can be challenged.
It's in the court
Because
of law.
it's not following the law.
To me, the law is very clear.
Because it's not outlined. That
It's not
application for the core, for the crusher is a whole application.
It's a whole final application for permission. It's not an outline.
Let's take a phone call. A lot of confusion there. Hello, yes.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to your guest. So I want to compliment for really, in a professional way, educating the public. But in listening to their delivery, I'm very, very saddened by the state that we've become in Dominica. An international airport is something that we should all be happy and rallying about. And if in the process there were things that were overlooked, and you have professional persons like Mrs. Edwards and Ms. Shillingford, bring it to our attention, not with no political bias, not with no emotion, but in a very calm and a teacher-like approach, pointing out to us where our shortcomings are. Why on earth people even want to attack their professionalism and question their judgment in the past? We have a serious issue. We have something that they're saying, pointing out the law, the section of the law where it has been violated. I think it is time for us as Dominicans, all involved, to examine ourselves, because I don't think it is a matter of whether we know or we don't know. I think it is a matter of our own morality. And so we need to get to the stage now where we examine ourselves and see whether we are filled with pride and is there an absence of humility in our approach to this day blasphemy. Because pride is a very, very dangerous thing. At this stage, with the information that have been given by the professionals, it is time we come to the table of brotherhood and sisterhood and exchange notes. It's like a student presenting their thesis to their professors. And the professors will ask you very critical questions. It doesn't mean that the professors are against your thesis, but they want to have the justification, the data, the scientific evidence as to how you as a student presenting came to that conclusion. And that is all that's happening there. They are pointing out the law, the procedural way in which such a project should have been done. It may have been an oversight, it may have been a shortcoming, but let us be humble enough to just simply say, yes, we did that, it was an oversight, and therefore we need to do it the right way. And let us sit down and see what decision can be made that we all as Dominicans will benefit, and the airport can continue. But this excuse about people against airport and river destroy, that is just pure ignorance. People don't understand the value of water, and there are those who are looking at our rivers and our water who understand the value even more than us. So let us cherish the rivers we have, the water we have, and let us see how we can have development being harmonized with our environment in a very responsible way. And in that way, I think all of us will be happy. Thanks again, ladies. Very good job.
Thank you. Somebody's saying, why is if the airport is 90% complete. So why don't you remove what's on the airport right now? Use the stones that they want you need. Just a very laughable question. The 4493095 makes sense. These are the rocks you need. So remove what you have done before and move on. 240. We're gonna take a break for a word from our sponsors. We're gonna come right back.
Fresh Market, Best Price, and Cash and Carry are giving you the chance to win the ultimate staycation. Simply spend $100 or more in store for a chance to win a luxurious weekend getaway at the Secret Berry store. Plus 2 VIP tickets to Chatham Crayon and spending money. But the excitement does not end here. Enjoy weekly prizes, fun in-store activities, and surprises, all promotion alone. The more you shop, the more chances you get to win. Shop at Fresh Market, Best Price, or Cash and Carry today and enter for your chance to win the ultimate staycation. Promotion runs from now until April 24th. Terms and conditions apply.
A fresh market. When money don't count and your pocket don't hurt you. A fresh market. Fresh market. It's a white day. We are open 7 days a week with the top of the line products. Well stocked supermarket and pharmacy, health and beauty care, fresh produce and meats prepared daily, hot and cold kitchen, ready to go meals, sandwiches, salads and desserts at your fingertips. Easy access, located on the bayfront, environment friendly, and our staff are approachable and ready to assist. Have you figured out who we are? You got it. Fresh Market, your one stop. Everybody don't count and your pocket don't hurt you. Fresh Market, Fresh Market, everybody have my day. Fresh Market.
I see Golo in shopping for farming supplies. So I ask him, what are you doing inside Bloombox? Do you have a farm? He tell me, that's how it has sort. I've been married 37 years. Look at my money farm. He said, no, not woman. Like land for farming crops. And then you understand. Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
Do it center. Hardware and home improvement, building supplies for you, kitchen appliances, even home decor too. Lumber, lawn, all your garden supplies, plumbing, welding, electrical supplies.
Visit Do It Center at the former Jane Asset Hardware location on Goodwill Road. Call us at 255-6890.
Do it. Center.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their June 2026 intake and is holding a free information session at the Waterfall Room, Fort Young Hotel from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on April 16th. Edinburgh Napier's programs, including the AACSB accredited MBA and BA business top-ups for holders of associate degrees. They are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible, and can be completed in a minimum of 1 year. Reserve a place now at www.sei, bold letters, degrees in lowercase dpgrees.com. That's www.sei, bold letters, followed by degrees, lowercase.com.
Exciting news from AutoTrade. Incredible savings are here. Take advantage of AutoTrade's Thrifty Thursday promotion. Mark your calendars. On the last Thursday of each month, AutoTrade is offering up to 20% off items throughout the store. Yes, 20% off. But wait, here's more. Keep your eyes peeled for our exclusive Deal of the Day offer, bringing you even bigger discounts on select items. Whether you're looking for car accessories, maintenance essentials, or just browsing for a great deal, we've got you covered. So be sure to swing by AutoTrade every last Thursday. At AutoTrade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, let's continue here. Let's take a phone call. Are you there?
Hello, Mark. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
But I just want to ask your guest a question because they are the experts. I am no physical planner. I am no engineer. I'm doing so. I just want to ask them a simple question based on their knowledge and expertise. Are they saying that absolutely no stones should be extracted from Deboche? No, because there are no mitigated measures, nothing at all. This thing should just be stopped. No stones at all for the international airport should be extracted from Deboche. Is this what they're recommending?
All right. Yeah, you want to stay on the line to get an answer, or you want to call back?
Yeah, I don't have to say anything again.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so that's a
Yes.
question for you.
And that's exactly what we're saying. Absolutely no quarrying at Deboche. And there's another dimension that is not being considered. Quarrying, because we have worked in quarries, we know that when the crushing is taking place, you need a lot of water. And in that case, that area, because the material is in the soil, so
You have to go deep.
because it's dirty material, you'd say. The
There's a lot of
material, the rock,
sedimentation.
it has a lot of soil in it.
okay.
They will need to use a lot of water to wash that material. And where will that washed material go? Once it's being crushed in the crusher, it has to be washed because you cannot take dirty aggregates to the airport. And that is a dimension that Dominicans are not realizing. You have to wash that material, wash out all the soil, all the acid, everything
And that
from
water
it.
has to go somewhere.
And that water is going to go straight into Pegwa River.
And-
So we have to realize that this is not a simple project, This is a massive project that entails a lot of impacts. And if what the EIA say is that if the impact are so detrimental to the environment, so irreversible, and so forth, so having such a great impact on the people, on their economy in the area and so on, it should not be approved. That's what an EIA is telling you. It's a decision-making tool. Some people think once they do an EIA, is a fair company, as people say. No, it is the tool. The information in it is to inform the decision makers, the people at on the board of the planning department. They have to use this information to make the decision about the project, whether it should be approved or disapproved.
So another thing.
So your point, you want to add to that?
Yeah,
You say no stones removed from there?
No, just walk away.
Just walk away.
Walk away. That's the safest thing to do. I just lost my train of thought. How did you conclude?
The decision making tool.
Right. So in an EIA, you can have all the mitigation guidelines, or this, do that. But how much of it is actually done? And he will tell you planning has to go out twice a year to monitor quarries. Because it's one thing to have a beautiful EIA document telling you exactly what you should do and what you shouldn't, conditions of approval and everything else, but you have to follow that. Will they follow it? So it's risky.
Yeah, but even when you look at the mitigation
You have to
measures
monitor
they recommended, they are simple things. Just put things like sedimentation ponds and wheel wash and so on. Not, you see, for a major project like that, they should be tailor-made. Things that maybe, for instance, they would set up a plant that will, when the water comes from the crusher, it would clean out all the elements in the water, recycle water before it goes into the river. Those kind of things. It has to be major, and it would be very costly.
Very, very costly.
Yes, it would be very costly. They would have to put up major equipment.
So
and
again,
machinery.
stay away from day one.
That's what we are saying. Yeah. It's not the first time, things, as I said, started at the beginning. Disapprovals happen all the time,
Yeah.
It's just because it's a government project and, it's a major project. But disapprovals happen all the time. And one thing I need to say also is that, especially with EIAs, you get recommendations from environmental health, from forestry, maybe from fisheries, depending on the project. And once any of them any of these agency raises a negative,
A red flag or
a red flag, that's it,
That's it.
That's how,
Because that's how planners operate. We know how to coordinate.
Yeah.
We know the red flags. We know who to call in. We know what expertise to get. Bring it to us. We listen to you. So
Always.
Planners work. We're coordinators. Work.
Okay, let's take a phone call. Are you there, Yas?
Yeah, Matt. Again, Matt. What does Clarence not want the government to follow the law? Yeah, because it's Roosevelt's carrot, he must bulldoze and he must not follow the law. Is that what Clarence wants? He's asking a technical question. That's a kind of feeler question. I'm glad that he got a good, straightforward answer. Enough said, man.
All right. Good afternoon again. Good afternoon. There is already 2:47. We're quickly running down on time. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Hey, good afternoon, Matt, and those of you in the house.
Yes, sir.
Matt, I'm from Margaret, and I'm living overseas. And Matt, I remember when the crusher was above Melvin Hall Airport there.
Mhm.
We have land close to there. Mr. Willie Samuel, all of those who are named I'm calling, these are people who I work for. We was one of those who used to deflower bananas and things like that. Miss Annie in there, her sister Tisha Agnes, we go to the same church. So if she listen good, she know exactly who's speaking. I love this lady, these people. Matt, I remember when we used to go and bathe in the Melvin Hall River because crusher was running 24/7. Matt, the river used to be dirty, but we had no choice to bathe. Matt, when we come out in the river, our skin used to be white. We used to think it was the soap. Some of us used to get irritation. Some kind of bumps used to come from our skin. I used to live at Melvin Hall there. Matt, it was very unhealthy. Sometimes we could not wash. We had to go up coffee to wash. Now imagine the Concord River. Easter Monday, that's where people go. When I come down to Dominica from station, is in the Concord area. I just bring people to bathe, Matt. That's where I just bring people to bathe. Think about that. Matt, secondly, Matt, I've seen some badge. Right now, Sabre is building a jetty. And Matt, you know where they're building those boulders, like what Margaret they have, those 5-star boulders?
Mhm.
They're doing it in station. And they're going to use badges to bring it over to Sabre. Why? Because the EAR, or whatever they call it, environmental impact, a study has been going, because you cannot play with Dutch. They did an environmental study, so it is feasible and it is better to do it in station. Right? It is bigger. They have the abrogate, everything to do it, so they do it over. And Matt, these badges, Matt, I know there are huge badges. None of the airport that is building right now, Matt, I was in Dominica December, none of these dumpers can compare with 2 of those dumpers that is in station. None. They look like babies. These are huge dumpers they have up here. Imagine when they are moving, there's another vehicle have to actually usher them. The point I'm making is this. When a badge comes in a stone, man, they take the whole Saturday and Sunday to offload that badge. So could you imagine? So when they talk about this, it's the cost to take it from Corley, whoever it is, to bring to Margaret or to Woodford Hill is very expensive. Man, that doesn't add up. When you load a badge, Matt, do you know the amount? Now remember, I tell you, those dumpers cannot compare what that is in the airport. The airport dumpers are very small compared to what is taking off the load off the badge. Matt, they would have to take maybe 3 days to offload one batch. These batches are huge. Load those batches with these big boulders. Bring them up to Margaret or to Woodford Hill. Matt, it will take days to offload those batches. So when they're talking about all the costs, look at the amount of cost they are putting all this back wall up at Dave Wash. That's a cost. Look at all the expense they are breaking and digging. That could go towards investing in 2 badges and bring up the stuff to Margaret or to Woodford Hill and let the work be done. Let the airport go on. Not I'm listening, man. This is dragging on for too long.
Too long. On the telephone, more telephone calls. Are you there? Yes?
Yes, Matt.
Yes, I.
Good afternoon to you and the ladies in studio with you, Matt. I'm saying Dominica still has a lot of people with good sense. Them 2 ladies and them other 2 young folk you had, Matt, if only the government had smart people like these people, Dominica be miles ahead of where we are today, Matt. But let me say something. From all I've heard, I will say that this entire process is a deceitful process. Let's be up straight up, point blank. These guys are trying to lie to the people and tell you about cost and all this, man, and how the road will be destroyed and everything, man. Every piece of equipment that is built in the airport today, man, every bag of concrete, didn't it come across the same road from Woodbridge Bay, man? They didn't bring it through the Atlantic to Marigot or one of them places to Melvin all over there. They traverse the country's road. So what about that destruction, man? Man, what I'm seeing and hearing is not about the rock for the airport, man. This is a fact-finding mission. They dig in to find out what they're gonna find. And when they come, they find they don't find the rock. They say, "Well, we have copper, no jala, no KWT." You understand? This is the kind of theory that this guy saying. Well, we already started damage already. But here's the thing. My prediction is, if that ever is allowed to take place, man, that destruction is gonna be left behind for many years to come. Long after the airport built, all the ones who built it, dead and gone, the destruction remains because the island did not form overnight. The rivers were not formed overnight. The evolution of the country was not overnight. It takes many, many years. And somebody telling me, like I'm an idiot, you're going to build an airport, you're going to dig up miles and yards of sand, take it to Londonderry and pack it over there, and when you finish digging up, you're going to bring it back. You think I'm an idiot? I don't believe that. Once it's built and what they're doing, they're going to do it, they're going to sit, get the copper, and they're going to leave everything as is. We don't have time, it's too cost effective, we can't do it no more. And the people who lease them the land can't use their land because the land will have heavy metals on it for a long time. But the byproduct of mining is poison because the concentration of the chemical. You see, nature have a way of balancing things. Man can try to imitate it, but you never duplicate it, man. People must learn and stop letting people lie to them. The so-called government, these guys have ulterior motives. It's deceitful from start to finish. I don't believe it, and it's a lie. And you have the defenders of these people and this kind of project with no proof to show the people that what they are doing. Why would people want to build something and they don't have no proof of the long-term effect? It's only common sense, man. So the ladies doing the job today, I really applaud them for what they come here to do and stand up and speak, and they got a rod in their back, man. Stand up like soldiers that many, many, many citizens of the country don't want to do because of they're fearful of what. I'd rather die and stand for something I believe in than to live in fear and sit down like a coward, like a jellyfish, man. It don't make no sense to me or nobody else. Anytime you sit down and then you have people called to defend that kind of nonsense. If you're so sure about what you want and where you're going to get the material that is the best thing, show the people the proof. It's very easy. And it could be solved easy, like Simeon said yesterday. Have a consultation. And that's all the people asking for. But you can't prove it, you can't show it, but you hell bent on destroying the country. And long after you and all your cohorts get your money, you leave the river and the neighborhood polluted. People can't drink the water, they can't breathe the decent air. The people who lease the land cannot reuse the land because it's contaminated. Matt, I'm listening. Thank you for what.
All right, thank you, brother. Thank you always. Thank you always. We're gonna take a break and we'll come right back, Dominica. This is the Talk on the Block.
Ooh, oh, KFC. Ooh, oh, KFC. Looking for some place to go. Emails for soul. KFC. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Fresh market, best price, and cash and carry are giving you the chance to win the ultimate taskation. Simply spend $100 or more in store for a chance to win a luxurious weekend getaway at the Sacred Resort, plus 2 VIP tickets to Chas and Crayon. And spending money. But the excitement does not end here. enjoy weekly prizes, fun in-store activities, and surprises, all promotion alone. The more you shop, the more chances you get to win. Shop at Fresh Market, best price or cash and carry today and enter for your chance to win the ultimate gas station. Promotion runs from now until April 24th. Terms and conditions apply.
Madam Boboy Madi, Laupali, Idipoti Brights and Company. Here the Rice and Company, the only company I know with Brights was cooking water and back and neck. Now with the last valley short, I said Brights. In the old plus nefla where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open Nipu gas peel agent. They program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering, aluminum, that can better withstand the elements. You have in an easy way, so no leaking after a while. And so much more. Brights and Company, the app by 8 Bank close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone 617-2468.
All right, Dominica. We're going to come back. Juliet, I want to, of course, connect with you. A note that's out there, a letter that was there from the Environment Minister, Mr. Kozia Frederick. You wanted to make some reference to that. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I came across this last night on social media, and I was like, okay, this is endorsing what we're doing, and this is the kind of thing we want to hear from the government, from the powers that be.
Right.
And in the last 5, I'm just going to read the last 5 paragraphs, not paragraphs, like statements.
Okay.
In the whole, it's a long thing. It's on social media under his page, his official page. So he says, our strength, therefore, lies in our collective understanding that forests serve as climate regulators. Rivers support agriculture, energy, and life. And land is a finite and valuable resource requiring careful management. This perspective is deeply rooted in our cultural heritage. Within the Kalinago territory, there has long been an inherent respect for balance. We always utilized what was necessary, preserved what sustained us, and planned with future generations in mind. Modern science now affirms that tradition has long demonstrated resilient systems are those that are balanced, adaptive, and protected. As we advance, our responsibility is clear. We must continue to pursue development, but we must do so responsibly and sustainably. Our objective is not merely short-term progress, but enduring development that benefits both present and future generations. We must ensure that those who come after us inherit the same natural assets, our forests, rivers, and lands that continue to sustain us today. I therefore call upon all government agencies and citizens to remain focused, disciplined, and committed to a development model that reflects our national identity, one that is grounded in environmental stewardship, informed by knowledge, and dedicated to building a resilient, prosperous, and sustainable future.
Congratulations.
So the minister
Very
is
well.
endorsing what you are saying.
I'm loving this. This is where we need to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's like perfect finale. He can just now bring it into cabinet, and we can just get a decision.
Right.
But there's a conversation that took place there that I want to share with you and maybe get your quick remarks on this one. It's from the PS in the Ministry of Planning there. Let's play that for you. Just for a short minute there.
This is what we've been trying to explain to you. Where the issue is that they are already within the Northern Forest. So exactly. So they've stopped it. But all of this does not have permission. So this currently permission for physical planning.
And which physical plan?
Physical planning. It's a physical planning division.
And why is that necessary?
Because that's what the law says.
Because the law says that was the issue.
The issue is that they are operating without permission, which makes this an illegal project. That's not illegal because they don't have any authority or any permission under the laws of the Commonwealth to operate at this site, which necessitates that they have
Read the law. So in other words, what you're telling me that a national project is like that's what you say. It's essential.
What you mean, like, no, all mining operations have to have approval from the Physical Planning Division before they can commence any groundbreaking activity. That's what the law says. And actually, it's not just permission. They have to submit about 10 different documents, including a map of the site, an environmental social impact assessment.
This is the authorization given to them. Proceed. We hand you over the site.
That's no. That, according to the laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica, which we have to respect, law and order is essential. That this site is operating outside of the laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and so it's an illegal operation.
Let me tell you, when you leave here, I want you to make a decision. All right?
I want you to make that decision.
You have to make a decision.
Okay.
As to whether you hijack the government system for processes
I'm not
that
hijacking.
You do not know about.
I'm simply following the government.
Government has followed certain procedures. The only issue is that the public was not aware.
No.
The public is not aware.
They are operating against the laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The same way I told you that they are currently within all parks, and you didn't want to believe that they are within the Northern Forest Reserve, and Forestry just confirmed what I said. It's the same way I am also trying to tell you.
The same question. What is the issue?
The issue is that the issue is that they went within our protected sites without any authority, without any permission, and that they are operating. They are operating the site without any authority or permission from the
developer and a contractor just fall in the end. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that they are acting against the laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Dominican people.
Dominican people make the laws.
Of course.
I didn't know that.
Of course, the Dominican people make the laws.
It was Parliament who makes laws.
And the Parliament are Dominican people. You cannot have a Parliament making laws for the Dominica without
the
Dominican
Parliament
people.
is the Dominican people who make the laws.
But of course.
So let me ask you a question. Did the contractor and the developer just show up here and do?
Well, that's all that we need to know. All that we're asking
So
for the
what I'm
information.
telling you, the only issue that is there is that the public was not made aware of what
the issue is.
Parliament.
The issue is that
and
the
the
law
government of
stipulates
Dominica
that they need to have permission to be able to operate at this site, and they have no permission, which means that this site is illegal and it is operating.
Who determines something is illegal?
The law determines the law. What? So does the law not determine if something is legal or illegal?
I don't know the law is a person. The law is rules.
These activities depend on
Who is this person?
Set
Sorry?
procedures.
May you introduce yourself to me?
Set procedures. All I'm saying, and here my last statement, the procedures that were followed associated with the site was not made public. That's all
May you introduce? Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
You saying something.
They're going to reverse. You need to come off on this side.
You're saying something that
they were not made public.
All right, so you hear the conversation there. Janelle and the Forester. With the PS, huh? Interesting. Any quick comments there from what you've heard?
Me?
Yes. You were so lost in what you were hearing, huh?
Yeah, well, for me, it's just maybe it's a culture that's going on right now. The belief that government is above the law, but it's not. The Physical Planning Act is very clear. Government has to apply for projects like anybody else.
The law binds the
It's
state.
a statutory body. It's like a DOASCO.
Yeah.
It is set up like a corporation. It's government has to apply.
Like everybody else.
Like everybody
Yeah.
else. Like everybody else.
Boy, it's something else. I was quite shocked when I listened to that.
Conversation.
It's like you're questioning, how could people like that be permanent secretary and have those top offices? He doesn't even understand that a country is run by laws. So if the government breaks the law, then anybody else can break the law. And then the whole system falls down. I mean, come on, man.
Hello on the telephone. Yes, interesting. Yes, good. Hello. Yeah.
I have a letter dated March 6, 2020
26 before me, giving the contractor permission to set up the crusher. And there is also some recommendations made they have to fulfill. Assuming that they meet the recommendations and the planning department gave permission to go ahead with the crusher and the quarry to commence operation, would they be operating unlawfully?
I think we spoke to that earlier. Yes, we did, right?
We did.
Yes.
We read the letter. We read the exact statement on the letter.
So the question again is the planning division. Did the planning division, of course,
They gave a green light.
for something that was wrong? Yes. Yes. The planning
Greenland,
division-
but yeah, that wasn't legal. That can be challenged.
I
in
think
court.
it can be challenged, but there is a letter where the planning division
Yeah,
told them they can go ahead and construct the crusher, they just cannot operate it. And that letter came out on March 6th.
And that was a time when
and that was wrong.
that was
I
a
believe
time when the stop order was in
You
effect.
cannot embed an outline planning permission in a letter concerning a final planning permission.
Exactly, it's two
for
separate.
requiring further information.
Yeah,
Just two different things.
It's two separate projects they were talking about.
And one application for final.
Just press.
Let's see if we can get it done.
Annie
Yeah.
and Juliet.
Yes.
I can't thank you all enough for speaking on the issue of Day Wash this afternoon. You know, this is my community. And this issue has been tugging deep within my heart from since I saw the destruction in Dewash. And these people are adamant in the continuation of the destruction of the Concord community. These people are not listening to what the community is saying. The communities, both the Kalinago and the Concord communities are saying, they're not listening. And I don't know why they think that we do not have any rights. We can't even speak up for our own well-being. Why? What is it that they think that the Chinese have a right? They have more rights than us. Keratin, the Chinese have more right than us. I want to say that the Chinese don't have any sentimental attachment to Dominica and absolutely no human considerations for Dominicans. So they will take down all of Dewash if they have to destroy the whole community to do so. Even the lives of the people if they have to, under whatever agreement they have with Roosevelt's Carrot. So it is up to us, the Concord people, the Kalinago community, and every patriotic Dominican who have a legitimate interest in the country. That is our home, where our ancestors paid with their blood, their sweat, and their tears to give us a place where we can call our own. We have a responsibility to protect the environment. We have to protect the ecosystem, the rivers, and our health. We have a right to clean drinking water and other necessities vital to our own existence and culture. Why should we agree for our water to be poisoned just to source 10% of the material needed for the airport's runway? Is that the human value placed on our lives to be sacrificed for the airport? Look at P.H. Williams' quarry that has been operational for so many years. It's not the size of the many acres in Dewash that they are seeking to destroy. And that is the reason I believe they are not after any rocks. Because from the Dewash Bridge all the way to Stonefield, what are you looking for? We are not going to agree to that. We are not going to agree to that. And this is the reason they did not discuss it with the communities in the first place, because they knew, well, we would not agree. Man, I don't know what they have to do, but they better do what they have to do to complete that airport, because that airport, incompletion is not hinging on Debwash, Decalain. It is not hinging there. It's not because of Debwash. The airport is not going to be complete because they can source the rocks elsewhere. They can badge it. Marigot has a port. You all can badge it there. You all have been taking cement from Roseau for more than a year. And suddenly you are concerned about cost? Well, we are concerned about our lives. And we have a right to live. And we have a right to live life abundantly. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. All right, I think the telephones are ringing again. Can't stop. Hello, yes?
Matt, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to your guest. Quickly, Matt.
Oh.
Let me ask you a question. This Mr. Cozier, who he represent, the Kalinago people?
The Kalinago people in the government of Dominica is the environment minister.
He's the one that wrote the letter you spoke about. That's on the media, right?
Yes, Facebook.
But Matt, why I'm glad about I listened to the letter and I'm very happy. But Matt, why no? Is it because maybe I could ask him myself, Mr. Cozier, why no? Is it because you are going to get away from that site now and later the Prime Minister said, "Oh, you listen to the people and the people will vote for you"? You took too many months. It took you too long to say something like this. But anyway, I'm happy you did it. But I'm asking myself a question. Is there a reason now? I'm just asking now.
All right, 449, well, you have to ask Mr. Cozier. Nobody that can answer why Cozier did what he did. But anyway, more to the telephone. Are you there?
Matt, yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, it's painful to see people say, give the young man a chance, and they give the young devil a chance.
Again, I don't want you to refer to anybody as devil, sir. You're not the judge. You're not God. Hello, talk to me, yes?
The no law, no constitution keep resonating or echoing. I told you years ago it was across the board. They don't abide, and let me give thanks to the two empresses in the house there. I give thanks on the Kalinago brother and the Brisbane lady. Thank you. The no law, no constitution keep vibrating. It keep echoing, resonating. It was across the board. The law and the constitution is to persecute the resistance. This criminal does not abide to whether forest law, whether planning law, whether what law. These criminals, they're loose. Thank you.
All right, thank you. More telephone calls. They're not stopping. Hello, yes? Are you there?
Yes, Matt, I am there. Matt, every time somebody talk about something, you're cutting them off. That is not.
I am telling you, cannot refer to anybody as the devil, sir. You're not God. I'll say it again. You're not. You can't say somebody's the devil. I won't allow that.
What the man telling Dominica?
No, I'm telling you, I won't allow that. That's my final decision on that. Hello, talk to me, yes.
Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
Yeah, good afternoon to the panel, especially my cousin there. Matt, let me see that. I tried to listen to the permanent secretary, and it looked like it looked like the personal. I don't know if you ever talk to a man, so it looked like he hate you, man. And he don't have much sense because he's really trying to talk to me, asking a question, what is the law, and this and that, and he's just not giving her a chance. But I realize I late. But I like to hear my cousin there, and I wish you would represent my village. Okay.
All right, caller, thank you very much. On the telephone, more telephone calls. Now the telephones are going crazy. We don't have too much time. Are you there? Yes.
Yes, good afternoon, Matty. I know you don't have too much time.
Yes.
Let me congratulate you and Mrs. Edwards and Juliet, as usual, for coming out there in public as past heads of the physical planning department to express their opinion, and what they are doing is very professional. But Matt, from the very beginning, when I started speaking on this Debwash issue, I point out the fact that the problem really started with the physical planning department and the planning authority approaching this application in the wrong way. Under our planning legislation, when you apply for planning permission, you are either getting one permit or two permits. For example, if you apply for planning permission in a housing scheme where planning approval has been granted toward that housing development, the land use has already been established, meaning that the land is zoned for housing. So if another person buys a lot in that area and they apply for planning permission, they're actually applying for a building permit. They're not applying for a land use permit. So if when you apply and the planning department reviews your plan, they give you planning permission. They can even say, okay, everything is okay, you can even start your foundation and your final approval will come in for the building. In the situation where I'm applying, say, planning permission in a village, say down center, down Point Michelle, if I apply for planning permission there, I'm actually seeking two permits. One, permission to use the land for housing or commercial use or whatever. And two, permission to set up a building on that property that you have approved for commercial purposes or housing purposes. The planning authority, having received the application for Debranche, they went there and they even do site inspection with the developers. I said weeks ago that the developers left the area with the understanding, tacit approval, that the application and the activity would be approved. You cannot be getting an application to set up a quarry with mining operation at the same time, or quarrying operation together with crushing operation or crusher. You are given permission to establish the crusher before you consider the most important aspect of the application. You haven't even have the information before you to review that application. That is the ESIAs, etc., etc. So, because the land on which the application was made is a nature reserve, that is the zoning on it. That is the land use, zoning and agriculture. The developer is now asking permission to use that land to establish a quarry with a crusher alongside it. You cannot be approving the crusher before you consider all the issues you have to consider provided by the Act, public participation, etc., etc., and then give permission for the crusher. That is nonsense. And this is where the problem started. And this is why I long ago advised the government, recognize that the planning authority made a big error. So there's no hurry for you to surface the runway right now. Take us a step back and look at the information, all the data you need to consider the application. Look at the other quarries around, whether the question about best is not best material, it's suitable material. Is the material available in the other quarries suitable for the purpose? So having established that, then it's a matter of say, hey, the material at Collio is suitable. We'll look at the cost implication relative to other quarries and so on. We'll look at the cost implication of the environmental impact of establishing a quarry in the wash and this thing. So the planning authority, its mistakes in reviewing the application that has caused all this data we have right now. And I long advise the government the way they should approach this issue. The planning department, you cannot be getting an application to establish a quarry and a crusher. You are given permission to establish the crusher before you get to review the most important component of the application, that is the quarry. That is where the person is asking for change of use. I want to change the land use there from nature reserve agriculture to a quarry. That is the issue. Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm going to take a quick break. We're coming back, Dominica.
A career spanning over 50 years. A literary luminary. A highly distinguished, famous, and illustrious author. Creole Hendrick in collaboration with Q95 FM, the league station, DNO and Pabin Serra, pay living tribute to the legendary Bateran. Anything to be the okay. On Friday, April 10th and Friday, April 17th, 2026 at 10:30 a.m. on Q95 FM, the league station, and DNO. From Harlem City, Charlottesville, Newtown, the Kingmaker, a living tribute to the greatest calypso writer ever from Dominica, Pat Aaron. A musician, a calypsonian, a calypso writer and arranger, a dauntless and valiant visionary, a lion-hearted custodian on social and political justice. His lyrics are highly powered, relentless, tenacious, and resolute poetry with a unique blend of rhythm, imagery, and emotion that creates a powerful impact. Pateron will be joined by his childhood friends, Tim Dura, Kelly Ghost Williams, then later
The 9K Monarchies golden pen, prophetic and philosophical mind, propelled to stand up.
Yeah, about the qualities of mercy and integrity. I feel the respect for humanity.
Bartheron, the living legend, the maestro on Creole Henrik this Friday on Q95 FM and DNO 10:30 a.m. Bahamatisa.
All right, Dominica, we have to wrap up in a minute there, but let's take another call and we'll, of course, allow the ladies to wrap up this afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to
And
you.
good afternoon to Annie and Juliet. Yeah. Matt, yeah, I just wanted to add a couple of things. In fact, your last caller hit the nail on the head regarding this whole issue, the plan division. Because, when we had met with the current chief planner acting, who we've understood his tenure has been extended for a while again. We don't know how long, but anyway. He brought up this point to us that the applications were in the planning, department for quite a while. So they were eager to give the developers, an answer. And one of the points we made to him was in the situation as it exists currently with so many different, issues. Why is there this rush to go ahead to want to give approval, even for this crusher to be set up? Without reviewing the issues properly, and that was a major concern, because in doing that, you're literally saying that you are going to go ahead and give them permission to do their crushing and quarrying or whatever, because who is going to go ahead to set up a crushing plant? Not at least knowing and to incur that cost, not knowing that the chances of them going to go ahead and use it or to do whatever they need to do is going to be given. So that was a major concern for us. The other thing, Matt, just quickly to go for a few points, is, and them talked about, is the whole thing about the mitigation regarding all of this runoff and problems and so on. Because today I was talking to an engineer, we had an extensive discussion. And as he's saying, the area is so prone to all this water situation and everything else, as we're seeing already. He says it will require an extensive team of all different experts to come in there to really give a proper report on all what is required to be able to mitigate against this runoff. We've seen that just with this simple thing they've done, how they're already struggling to even contain the little water that is already coming off the land. To the point where I don't know, Matt, if you've seen it, but, the Chinese went ahead and put this cloth material, I've never seen this in my life, in one of the drains to try to hold back the silt and everything else. And now they are actually digging across the road, trying to put some gabion baskets and some other material to try to see how they could hold back the silt. So that alone tells you that, the whole approach to this is wrong. And even if you may hold back some silt, Matt, and the water is clean, as we know, the contamination of the river, mercury and arsenic and so on, is still going on and still will go on, because these things are not things you could see. They're colorless. So that's one of the points. Also, to Matt, is coming to the point of the cardio and cost and everything else and the trucking stuff. Again, I did a quick analysis, and I just want to just show this also, based on, again, Tony Leblan's report, where he said that the current site at Londonderry, which is one of the considerations along with the one at Concord. By the way, Matt, the one at Concord, as Annie said, there's a stop order and a compliance order. In our meeting with the chief planner, we said to him, why hasn't there been compliance to the compliance order? The compliance order. And interestingly enough, what he said to us, because in the compliance order and the stop order, Mr. Lum, who is the owner, was told clearly that every bit of dirt that has been dumped on that land has to be removed. If you read the compliance order, that's what it says. And in fact, the time has passed. It was since the 29th, I think, of January that that's supposed to have happened.
And we asked him, why hasn't the enforcement taken place regarding this compliance? And interestingly enough, what he told us was this: well, you know, they're having difficulty in getting a suitable dumping site, and that is why the stuff has not been moved. And he went on to say it's very difficult in Dominica to get a proper dumping sites and so on. So the question was to him, if they're having a difficulty just to move the small amount of material there, where are they going to put this massive amount that is of overload and material that is going to be taken out from the quarry and the crushing plant? And again, he couldn't really answer that. The other side they're talking about is Londonderry. And Londonderry is
And
already,
of course, you have to go very quickly there. Let's go.
yes, Matt. And Londonderry is already 40 feet high, based on what the estimate is. And with the material that they're talking about in removing from the 19 acres, which we've now found out is not 19 acres, Matt, is now 26 acres, because again, in the application, they left out 7.5 acres, which is private land. For whatever reason, we don't know, but it's now 26 acres. And so that site, Matt, is going to now be another 70 feet higher than what it is. And Matt, you can well imagine what 70 feet of dirt on 70 acres is like. So, you know, these are the kind of situations. And also, to Matt, let me just say this, that in terms of the trucking situation, and just very quickly, based on the material that they are looking to move, approximately 600 cubic meters of overload and 400 cubic meters of material. So the overload is even 50% more. You're looking at an estimate, Matt, of approximately 18,000 truckloads over an 18-month period. And that's one way. So that's 36,000 two way. And that's 4,600 monthly one way, 9,200 two way. 150 trucks one way per day, which is 300 two way. Okay, Matt, and that's only 19.18 acres, which is what they disclose on the application. But we are now finding out it's 26.5 because they left out this other amount. So we can now expect an increase of approximately 30% more or 6,000 more truckloads, or 24,000 truckloads for one way 18 months, or 48,000 two way. Right, Matt? At an approximate price of $500 a truck, that is cost. That is about $8 million, Matt, just for this trucking. Which, if you go to Corleo, Matt, and I can say this also, Matt, we just received an official test result just recently of the material at Corleo, which meets the requirements for the airport standards. That is why Antigua used it, and that's why Melvin all used it. So this is a recent report we've received that was done last month. So all in all, Matt, Corleo for sure is suitable. The point is the cost, which we all have been talking about. But here's it in terms of even the trucking. Forget the barging, but the trucking, Matt. So you now can cut out about 15,000 truckloads of material, because that's what it's going to require just for the overload at Dewash. Not taking the material, the overload. So if you go to Corleo, then you end up only doing, I think it's about 8,000 or less, 7,000 truckloads, rather than doing 21 or 22,000 truckloads. So again, Matt, all of that are things that we need to consider. And lastly, Matt, I just want to say this, and thank you for the time. The decision of Dewash really rests squarely in the hands of the Planning Division Board and the members of that board, who are Ms. Carlene Roberts, the chairperson, Mr. Marcus Lestra, Director of Survey, Mr. Ricky Brumont, the Director of Agriculture, Mr. Chester Ailey, who is now the Chief Planner, acting, and Mr. Emil Lansford, Mr. Burgess Stout, and Mr. K.Z. Thomas, and Tamika, who is, I understand, the state attorney. So, Matt, I really want to appeal to these people, because the Planning Division has that authority now to save Dewash and save that disaster that's going to happen, and still have this airport built and concluded. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jerry. Of course, I know there's a lot of information to give. I'm going to allow the two former chief planners to give their final words before we move this afternoon there. I know everybody wants to call, but time is of the essence.
Okay, so I just want to end on the note that if that quarry is built in Debwash, it will contradict two main policy statements, I would think. One is that Dominica is committed to be the first climate resilient country in the world. That is a statement that was made at the United Nations, and it's out there and people are still repeating it. The second one is that Dominica is a nature island of the Caribbean. And we know why we are called the nature island of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the site at Debwash, as was said in the report, is susceptible to landslides. It has erosion risk, and the area gets high rainfall. So you have a combination here of high rainfall, erosion risk, slow instability of the slope. If this quarry goes ahead, it's just going to open a whole, it's just going to expose this, destabilize the area and expose it to climate change risk, such as, we know with climate change, you're going to have more intense hurricanes, more floods, more landslides caused by the floods and so on. So Dominica will just put itself in a situation where it is saying one thing and doing the exact opposite. And for us to maintain our reputation, we have to ensure that when we say something, we mean it. And we say we want to be the first climate resilient country in the world. We say we are the nature island of the Caribbean. Let us live up to it. That's
good way to go, Ms. Schillenfeld.
Yeah, so I just want to take from where Annie left off to say that there are options out there, and it's really important that they do the maths, they complete the comparative analysis, and it is not rocket science. It's better to go and take your rock on the West Coast. It's really not rocket science. It's not difficult. I want to appeal to the board to take this seriously. They are responsible to the people of Dominica. We trust your good judgment and your commitment to our well-being. And let's take it from there.
Right, thank you. You did a very good job. You see how I told you to be very comfortable? And you did. Thank you very much. Come back soon. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Couldn't find the words or the courage to pray. Oh, but you reached right down from the heavens above, and you pulled me out with your unending love. You set my feet on a solid hard rock and gave me a new song that the devil came out. Yes, Lord. A brand new